Should be all good to go. It's crazy.
We are recording.
We're live.
We're recording.
We're live from the basement. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Bros, Brews, and the Basement podcast. Nice.
Yeah.
It's the same podcast you've been listening to, only it's a year later. It is 2025. It's our first podcast of the year. I actually don't even remember because it's been so long now that we've done one. I don't remember where we left off. Like, what number is this even?
I want to say it's 17.
Yeah, I think so.
18?
It's definitely one of those. That was where my brain was at as well.
I thought our last one was 16.
I'm going to guess 18, but I'm not sure. I'm not confident in that, but you know.
Me either.
But yeah, excited to be back. Obviously, like we just said, our first podcast back in 2025. Usually we do a end of the year like wrap up or a look back on 2024.
It is January 17th, so,
yeah, so
we're a tad late.
We're pretty deep into it already. Yeah, we missed the mark a little bit, but you know, it's hard to get together and do this as frequently. So
full-time jobs.
Yeah, and
lives.
Yes, lives. I was gonna say. Say for you, kids.
Children.
Yes, children.
Yeah.
That's the big thing for 2024.
They do take up time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just slow.
Wee bit.
And BD, you know.
2024 recap. I guess my question to you is, what was your highlight?
Oh boy, of 2024. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It all just feels like one big blur. I'm not even really. I don't think anything right now is like jumping off at me. I'm sure randomly something will come into my mind like while we're in the middle of doing this, and I'll just be blurting it out just randomly.
This is a good place to do that. So I think you're okay.
Yeah. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I feel like 2024, I didn't really do a whole lot of things. Like it was just basically working and just trying to save money up and try to fix up the house, fix myself a little bit, get a little healthier and stuff like that. So, I mean, as far as highlights, I mean, I don't think, maybe it was just how much money for me, I guess that like I saved up and invested in stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like being more responsible.
Well, I know we talked a couple of times, the Roths were looking pretty damn good there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So mine is still looking pretty good. I think most people's are at this point.
Yeah. I mean, there's always fluctuations.
Of course.
But, yeah.
But overall, we're up.
Yeah. Especially now. I was gonna say I bought some more just today. Just like
nice.
why not? You know.
Anything in particular?
I also I set my dividends to get reinvested because I was just like, why not? You know, I have the Roth IRA one and all that stuff, which I already set that one, but I also have a lot in just like Robinhood, just for fun, you know.
Crypto.
I have some crypto, but I buy a lot of like Nvidia and like stuff like that where I know I'm not gonna probably be in it necessarily for the long term.
Right.
So.
Yeah, crypto, if you're in crypto, it's one of those things that you buy and you just hold.
You just leave it there, forever.
Like, if it gets super high and you want to take your profit, sure, fine. But you can't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows because it's just going to keep as much as it possibly can.
Yeah, I always think about like, oh man, I really missed the mark on buying like Bitcoin and all that stuff.
Well,
but it's you can always do that. Look back and beat yourself up about it. You know.
Just be happy you're not the guy that bought a pizza for 2 Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. That
guy. That one's rough.
Yeah.
Or I saw something the other day. Apparently some guy's girlfriend was like rage cleaning their place and she threw out the key to his wallet.
Oh no.
Because they say like you're supposed to memorize it, you're not supposed to have it printed anywhere, but some of them are really long or odd, so you kind of have it there in case you can't remember. And apparently she tossed it.
Oh god.
And he doesn't remember his like the words to get into his wallet. So
fuck, that sucks so bad, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
Might
be a deal breaker.
Yeah. Sorry. Got to get rid of you. Can't.
Money is more ruined our future.
Yeah, our whole financial structure and future. Sorry, got to kick you to the curb. Got to get a sugar mama now.
Yeah,
But yeah, how about you though? What highlight of 2024? I mean, kid got to be right.
Kid.
I mean, it's
yeah.
Imagine if like you didn't say that and like Kim heard this, she'd be like, "What?"
Well, I'd be dead. So
Dylan was found earlier today in many dumpsters.
It would just be like, has anyone seen Dylan?
Nope.
No. Haven't heard from him. Haven't seen him. No one would know.
Yeah.
I would just be gone. But truthfully, it is having my child. Being a dad it's amazing. It really is amazing. And it's funny because I've talked to a lot of people over the years who are dads.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them don't say how great it is.
Yeah.
A lot of them say how much it sucks and how tired they are and how much their lives changed and how much they don't like this and don't like that. And
focusing on the negative aspects.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you have to know if you're having a child, your life is going to drastically change.
Yeah.
Once the life is here. Once the kid is here.
Yeah.
Like, your life drastically changes. And I don't know what some of these guys are thinking.
I think they understand the general concept of it, but I don't think they really grasp just how much, and then when you're hit with the reality of it, I think it's the struggle of accepting it.
Don't get me wrong. There are times that are stressful. There are times where it's like, man, I wish you would stop crying, right? Like, of course those moments happen.
Yeah.
But to sit there and be like, oh, I didn't realize life was going to change this much. I want to, now knowing what I know, I would love to go back to some of those people and be like, what did you really think was going to happen? Like, you think the kid was going to be born, your wife was going to do everything.
Yes.
And you were just going to
sit there and be able
go
to
replay on Sundays to watch football?
Yeah, obviously. I'm going out with the boys.
Yeah.
Going out.
So, definitely the highlights having the kid, for sure.
Nice.
2024 ended with COVID for me, so that was cool.
Yeah, rough.
Thankfully, it was like, I didn't even think I had a cold, honestly. I had such mild congestion.
Well, thank God for that. I mean, at least if you're gonna have it, it may as well be the lowest form possible.
It wasn't until my kid had a fever, and then, Kim was like, you should just take a test just so, like, we know. Yeah. And I was like, I doubt it's it, but whatever. Like, I'll take a test. And then the test came back positive. And I was like, well, go fuck yourself. Because then I had to go take an official test. I had to notify work, which, it's not the end of the world that I have to miss work.
Yeah.
It was days I wasn't going to be there anyway.
Yeah, which is fine.
So it's not a big deal, but it was just, I just couldn't believe it was COVID, because I was like, that's not it. I've had it before. It doesn't feel anything like it. It just feels like stupid congestion.
Yeah. And
then it was, but thankfully, I had seen my parents. My parents didn't get it. We saw other family. No family got it. No one else got, other than us three in the house. So, but everyone's good. And honestly, like, as far as being sick goes, it was a big nothing burger.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't
for like all
really.
three of us. Really.
Yeah. Did Kim end up getting sick or no?
Yeah. Yeah, she had like a day or two where she, wasn't feeling her best, but overall it was fine.
Okay.
So really just strange.
The end of the year was not particularly great. I don't think for a lot of us. Same thing for me. Like, I ended up getting the norovirus.
Oh, is that what you had?
Yeah, I was.
That is some nasty shit.
Yes.
The norovirus.
I woke up on
hand sanitizer resistant.
Yeah, and so we knew that there was something going around at work, like on on our floor, but not on my
Yeah.
unit, on the unit next door. And then, I was making sure I was hand sanitizing like crazy, like after everything, and washing hands and everything. And I woke up on a Saturday night into Sunday at 3 a.m, couldn't stop puking and shitting my brains out.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold down like any fluid either. I was like trying my best. Ended up going to the ER. Wanted to get the IV.
Yeah, it's better off.
They ran all these tests just to be sure, and I was just like, it's definitely some kind of virus or something. Like, I can't imagine I'm having some kind of internal issue.
Yeah, but better safe than sorry. And if you're at the ED, might as well get the whole look over.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if I'm there already,
Yeah.
So I was really only sick for like that day with like the vomiting and the explosive diarrhea as pissing out of my ass, if we're going to get really graphic about it, but it's true. And then after that day, I got like some prescriptions and stuff and was just drinking, a little bit of water, a little bit of Gatorade and stuff. But I didn't feel right for like the whole week.
Yeah.
Even though it was really just the one day of like major sickness. So that was like 2 weeks before the end. And leading up to like Brian's party was like the Christmas party was like really the first time that I felt good.
Yeah.
So I was like grateful that I was good for that. I didn't even really drink at the party. I was like, this is first. I think it was a strange thing. Like the first like big social event that didn't like have any alcohol really.
Well, last thing you want to do is throw your stomach off with booze.
Yeah.
After you're getting over norovirus.
Yeah. I won't lie though. I did have like one shot of like, but I was like, one shot's not fine. Like that's good.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting. It's not like I'm drinking a whole beer or like a whole thing of bourbon or whatever whiskey. So it won't be the end of the world. But it was weird though. It definitely felt weird because everybody's like expecting you to drink. Like Felicia was like, "Oh my God, I was so excited that you were here first." She was like talking about a specific drink, and she was like, "I couldn't wait for you to come so we could like have it together." And I was like, "I'm not drinking today." Sorry about that.
That's funny, but smart.
Yeah,
it's a smart move.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much our wrap on 2024 for our personal
overall,
lives, I think.
Overall, a great year. Just interesting ending. And I mean, compared to what you had, like that's rough. Me, I was just minorly congested and got to stay home.
Yeah.
No big deal for me. What you had. Eesh.
Yeah, not fun.
But anyway, we're on to 2025.
Yeah.
And what better way to start 17 days into 2025 than our beer
of the week.
And I guess probably month.
Yeah, right? Yeah, at this point, we may as well just label it as beer of the month.
Beer until the next podcast, which who knows when that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I, on my lunch at work, went to a distributor locally because I just was absolutely not going to stop on the way home from work.
Not after a long, hard day.
No, there's just something about stopping on the way home from work. Like, I don't want to do it. And most people don't. They just want to go home. They want to change their clothes. They want to relax. I
think there's also just like a mental thing about like doing it on the clock. Like knowing like you're at work though, and it's not like after hours,
Yeah, so I went during lunch, and the place I went, which I believe is Syosset Beverage, had a great selection until I spotted these, and we'll zoom in so you could see them.
Mm-hmm.
It's from a company called Pipeworks Brewing Company out of Chicago, Illinois, and the name of this beer is Blood of the Unicorn.
Hoppy red.
And it's a hoppy red ale. So
exciting.
I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I am very excited.
Me too. I was going to say, I don't think we've had a red ale on the...
No, and I feel like we were doing, like we always do.
Thank you.
There's always IPAs because everyone and their mother's making IPAs.
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean...
the last handful of years. And I just like to do different stuff. I could drink IPAs, over and over again. I really can.
Wow, this is incredible.
I figured we could try something different.
I didn't even see the Demon Knight, I'm going to call him, in the left side. Yeah. I only saw like the unicorn, which, obviously you'd think that's which is the centerpiece. Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have a bunch of little crows or ravens on the right.
Is
yeah, it's pretty insane.
Wild.
I love it. You think CM Punk has had this?
Maybe. He would say he's a unicorn himself.
Yeah. Now the real test. Can we pour this without spilling any on this white?
Questionable.
Yeah.
Well, let's be happy that the can didn't explode like
True
previous ones.
True that. I finally got rid of the Dank 7 in the fridge. Yeah. I was just like, I'm just going to get rid of it.
I saw some other beers made by the same brewing company because the artwork was the same.
Yeah, and
I was like, no, it's going to explode.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good pour. Nice, like, deep amber.
Yeah, wow. This is Guinness? I'm just kidding. It would be darker if it was Guinness, I feel like, still. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It would definitely be darker. But this looks really good. Hold on, I just got to check something. All right. Okay, well.
Shall we?
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you out there watching, listening. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.
Taste the brew.
Join the crew. Yes. I'm so glad you remembered.
I heard your swallow over the microphone.
Gulp.
It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah.
I want to see if they have like any description. Doesn't look like it. Can art by Jason Burke at Ink and Lead Designs. Good job, Jason Burke. This can is pretty fucking awesome.
It really is. 6.5%.
No real description on it or anything. I tried to find some
info
on the brewing company, but they didn't have like an About Me page on their website. So I don't know how long they've been around. Seems like they've obviously been in the Chicago area for a while because they've been doing it for a bit, but my first time ever hearing of them.
Yeah, I had never heard of them either. Definitely a first.
So I really like the red ales a lot. In general, they're always good beers. This is a great beer. I really like it. I feel like I could sit here and sip it, and I don't need to chug it.
Yeah, probably best not to, honestly. I mean, you could if you want, but I mean, I feel like the whole point is to enjoy it, slow sipping.
I would love to know like what like the actual taste of this is.
Yeah, I feel like it has something familiar about it. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah. Fruity, piney American hops. That's according to Beer Advocate.
Fruity and piney? I don't know about the piney part. At least not for this one. Maybe.
Yeah. What do you taste?
I feel like now that you said that, I feel like I tasted in like the aftertaste. I feel like the aftertaste is piney now.
Yeah. I feel like there's.
I don't know. It's like hard to describe really what it tastes like. I mean, it definitely tastes like beer for sure.
Yeah. It's a little fruity. Like a little. But it's not like it's not too heavy of a beer, but it's definitely not like the lighter
Yeah, you could. It's
IPAs
definitely like a
that
dark.
we're used to drinking,
Yeah,
especially on this podcast.
yeah. Like if I didn't see what color this was, I would be able to recognize that it was dark though.
Yeah. It's like a medium, like I would say a middle medium bodied beer, right? Because it's not like a full body beer like Guinness is.
Yeah,
since you
that
mentioned
is.
it.
Yeah.
Guinness is super heavy, and then your IPAs that are just lighter than light. But I really like it. Do you have a rating? Because I don't. I'm still thinking.
Man, sometimes I feel differently. It's funny, like, we rate it like right away. And then sometimes I feel like as the more I drink them, sometimes in my mind, like my rating is slowly changing. Like maybe I don't enjoy it as much the further I go into it. But
so you wanna sit on it a little bit?
I mean,
we could finish the cups
and then go back
and then think about it.
Maybe we could do that. That seems like a new concept for 2025 on the ratings.
So we'll do that. We'll finish the beer, and then we'll think about rating. We always have second one, just in case. But anyway, welcome to 2025.
Woo!
Bros, Brews, and the Basement.
Thank you. You love us. You really love us.
So going into New Year's Eve, or well, I guess New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Right, we're trying to watch the ball drop, but ABC gatekeeps Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve or whatever it is. So even if you logged into ABC with your cable login, which I was using my parents', you can't watch it. You had to watch some like secondary or
that's some bullshit.
Yeah, so the website that I use to watch all my sports, usurping paywalls, of course, had Dick Clark's New Year's Eve special. So we just watched that. With the streams, they're usually about a minute behind, though. So once the ball started dropping, we looked at each other and we were like, Happy New Year.
Nice.
and then watch the ball drop because, you might as well. But every year that I watch that, it just reminds me that I will never, ever go to fucking Manhattan.
Yeah.
To watch the ball drop.
Yeah, I've never gone, and I probably never will.
Zero
even though I'm in New York.
interest.
Yeah,
I will never do that. I'm kind of over going to the city in general.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that many times, but the last time we all hung out.
Yeah, I like. If I'm going for a show, like we said, I gotta like all the bands, or it's got to be a big enough show that it's worth going for. But other than that. Like, I'm not going for a ball drop. I'm not going for anything.
Yeah.
And because when you go to watch the ball drop, like, you get your spot whatever time they open it up.
Move. Probably, right?
Which is later now. Like, apparently this year they didn't let people in until a certain time. But previous years, you just fucking showed up.
Yeah.
And you were there. Like,
couldn't imagine.
You have to bring a bottle of pissin'.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm like, you can't move, right?
No.
I mean, like, you can't leave.
Because if you move, your spot's gone.
Yeah.
And then you wasted all that time to have someone take your spot while you're taking a piss.
Right? Just like, oh my God, that's so.
It's nasty.
Yeah, imagine just like pissing in front of everybody on the floor. Like, what if you have to take a shit, like a fucking diarrhea shit?
Yeah, you're fucked.
You got the bubble guts.
Yeah.
You got to make a plan. You got to make a move, dude. What are you doing?
You're screwed.
You squatting down and just shitting on people's shoes? Or?
So that's all that fucking tells me and reminds me every year is
wouldn't do it.
Not going to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Manhattan to watch the fucking ball drop. I'll watch it from my couch.
So what's funny is you bring that up, and this Sunday I'm going to the Manhattan Center, aka Hammerstein Ballroom, for GCW.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're watching Matt Cardona's wrestling.
He is, yeah. I have like the card here. I was gonna bring it up at some point. We don't have to technically do it right now, but he is on the card against question mark, so I don't know if the thing that I'm looking at is accurate. And then I also heard that Sabu's supposed to be there, so I don't know if he's gonna be wrestling Sabu because he's not on the rest of the card that I'm looking at. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the good thing about Hammerstein is it's right across the street from Penn.
Yeah, that's what I said to Brian, because he was basically just like, yeah, we just have to, you just have to worry about travel and, like Uber or whatever, like obviously the train and whatever else. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's like right across the street.
It's right across the street.
Yeah, I was like, and if it's not, it's like literally 1 block away. So like it's fine.
No, it's literally across the street.
Yeah.
Not across the street from the Long Island Railroad entrance.
Yeah.
But across the street from Penn.
Yeah.
Do you remember we went to a show at Hammerstein? I want to say it was A Day to Remember, but I don't remember.
They were at Hammerstein. Yeah.
I remember
we've only been there twice that I know of for shows, and it was like ADTR.
I feel like it's been 3 times because you're going to say ADTR and Gavin.
Yes.
There's another show that we all went to that was before the ADTR show.
Really? Are you sure?
Oh, you know what it was? Danger Kids and Falling in Reverse.
Was that the one where Issues was? Was Issues in that one or no? Because I feel like it had to be.
Issues was Terminal 5. Now I don't know. But it was the Danger Kids show, and it was the Danger Kids show. We were leaving, and it was...
Who else was there? Because I feel like I don't remember that.
Maybe because they were like the opener, and we went like just for them.
And Falling in Reverse was the headline?
I'm pretty sure they were the headline. We'd have to look it up, but I don't remember. But we weren't staying for any of the other bands.
Interesting.
It was when we used to go to shows just to see one band.
Oh, those were the days, huh?
And I just remember walking back to Penn from Hammerstein, and some dude started yelling at me because I didn't have a coat on. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I was 25.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That tracks. I mean,
but yeah, he started yelling at me for not having a coat. He was like, "Boy, where's your damn coat at?"
I mean, what he doesn't understand is you don't bring coats to those kind of shows because then you have to carry it around with you or coat check it, and then good luck getting out with the coat check unless you like fucking get it real early.
Or getting your coat.
Yeah, period. You're going to be waiting in line forever. I mean, I learned that a long time ago at Irving Plaza. Now, I never did the coat check, but I'm just saying I would see the line at the end of the show and be like, I would never want to wait on that. I don't want to stay any longer than I have
coat,
to.
you just freeze. That's it. If it's that cold.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even that cold.
Yeah, like you could wear a hoodie though and be like fine in the crowd. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I wore a t-shirt.
Yeah,
and I'm always
we would suffer, but we were younger back then. So.
But yeah, the random guy started yelling at me. That's what he said. He said, "Boy, where's your damn coat at?" And I was just like, "I'm good, man. I'm 25."
Oh shit, that's funny. Whew. A lot of
What else is who else is on the GCW card?
All right, let's open it up here. So yes, GCW on Sunday. Yeah, I told Brian, I was like, dude, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go yet. I was like, it's a Sunday night at 8:00. I was like, I have work on Monday. I was like, I have to see if I can get my coworker to cover me because because I don't want to just call in sick like already, if I don't have to. Luckily, she ended up covering me, so it worked out. Okay, so there's a bunch of matches, honestly. So you have a 6-man tag match: Amazing Red, Grim Reaper, Homicide, who I know, Griffin McCoy, Kerry Morton, and Tony Deppen.
Okay.
Honestly, some of these people I might know they just might have different names from, There is one that I'll tell you about when we get a little further down. Next match says Steel Cage, Richard Holiday versus Charles Mason. I don't know either one of them offhand. Singles match, Megan Bain, who was actually just on AEW, made her like AEW debut. And man, that is a big woman.
Okay.
Kind of looks like the Glamazon a little bit, but like her outfit was way more like anime / like superhero. It looked really cool. She was a good wrestler. Versus Atticus Koger. I don't know. Singles match, Masato Tanaka versus Joey Janela. I'm pretty sure, I definitely know Joey Janela.
I know Joey Janela.
Masato Tanaka sounds really familiar, though. I'm pretty sure I know him as well. And then the next match is a singles Matt Cardona versus question marks. I'm thinking that's where maybe the Sabu thing fits in, but I'm not sure, unless Sabu is not wrestling by Sabu, but I'm pretty sure he would be.
Yeah, I mean, if he's being... Is he advertised as Sabu, or you just heard Sabu's going to be there?
I don't know. Okay. Brian just told me that Sabu's supposed to be there, but I don't know if he was advertised that way. Then you have a 6-man tag match, Little Guido, Super Crazy, and Tajiri versus Los Desperados, Ares, Gringo Loco, and Jack Cartwheel. I know the first team, well, for the most part. Then you have a Bloodsport match. You have Josh Barnett, former UFC or MMA fighter, versus Tom Pestock, who is Baron Corbin.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, that's pretty cool. GCW Extreme title, Ultraviolet title unification DLC match. Like, what? Maki Ito, Matthew Justice, John Wayne Murdoch, Matt Tremont, Rina Yamashita, Brandon Kirk, Dr. Redacted, and Drew Parker. I honestly can say I don't know a single one of those people.
Yeah.
Unless, again, like we said, they're going by a different name. Then you have a singles match. Have you ever seen on TikTok or anything that guy Vikingo or Vikingo?
No.
He does like this crazy running like springboard like 720 or whatever. I usually like outside the ring, or like 450 swanton or whatever outside the ring onto like tables, and it's literally the craziest shit you'll ever see. He's wrestling in a singles match apparently against Sidney Akeem. Don't know him. Then you have a tag title match.
This is a long card.
Yeah, right. I'm like, this is a lot. And there's like cages and different things, so it's like a lot of setup, I'm sure. So this is going to be a long, long one.
Starts at 8?
Starts at 8. That's what it said.
Sounds like you're going to be there until midnight.
Forever. I know. I was thinking about, I just bought Neurogum.
Yeah.
Have you seen that on TikTok?
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything
I was like thinking about bringing some with me, because I'm just like, if I'm going to be up, I might as well have, some caffeine and be awake.
Yeah.
Then we have, let's see, I read the tag title match, Violence is Forever, Dominic Garini and Kevin Koo versus Garbage Daddies.
That's
Alec Price and Cole Radrick. Don't know any of them.
No.
And then you have a number 1 contender match, Effie versus Allie Catch, and then whoever wins that faces Mance Warner for the title.
Okay, I know Effie and Allie Catch.
I don't know either one of them.
I only know them because
these are clickable. But
Matt Cardona did a program with Effie.
Okay.
And or maybe not a program, but they were doing a lot of matches. They were talking shit on X, Twitter, whichever it was at the time.
Yeah.
And Allie Catch, I think, was she's been around the indie scene for a minute, because I recognize that name. So Baron Corbin, what's his name now?
Tom Pestock.
Is that his real life name?
I would assume that's his real name, because that seems like, how do you go from Baron Corbin just like, I'm Joe Blow,
Right. I just remember he had his Money in the Bank, and then he had a failed cash in. And everyone was like, what the fuck?
He had so much
he has
potential.
A failed cat. Like, what the fuck is that? And I remember he tweeted out something along the lines of trust the process, or I trust them, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
meanwhile,
hindsight, however many years ago his failed cash-in is, like, they could have done a lot with him.
Yeah.
And didn't.
Yeah.
They just didn't.
I always liked him, especially when he was. I used to watch NXT like when he was coming up, and he was like the shit in there.
I don't get why.
He had a really cool finish.
Yeah, why did he flame out? Like, what happened?
I don't know. I feel like he suffered from like Nickelback syndrome. You know, I feel like people just started hating him for like no real reason. I mean, I would assume like if we had to put a reason, maybe it's just the booking that they did for him. You know, because his big thing was he would just squash people with that move in like.
What was his finisher? End of Days?
End of Days, and then I feel like he changed it at some point, or maybe it was his signature. It was like the Deep Star 6 or whatever, or something like that, where it was kind of like a what is that? It's almost like a sidewalk slam, like the one that like Abyss does. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm never a fan of when, they bring out the. Oops, sorry.
It's all good.
When they bring out the big wrestler, right? So they bring out a guy. He's a tall guy. He's in good shape. So they have him squash people for like 3 months.
Yeah,
that to me is so boring.
I know nobody wants. It's just to keep him relevant, but it's so boring.
And I get it, right? He's gonna come out. He's gonna have a 3-minute match. He's gonna dominate, hit his signature, hit his finisher, and win. And it's just to build him up as like the big guy. And I get it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And when he came out, they were doing that with him in the beginning. And I was like, here we go. Another one of these fucking guys. But then, he started wrestling real guys, not jobbers. And he was putting on good matches, gets to the point where he wins Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, you don't win that unless you're supposed to be the next big thing.
But then the second they had him do a failed cash-in, to me, that was the end of it.
Yeah.
I know it took like another 7 years or something like that. I mean, like it was a while.
Up until that point, how many failed cash-ins were there even?
I can't tell you.
He was probably the first, maybe the second, but like still not. If you fail, you're like in the super low percentile of people who have failed.
Right.
Because the cash-in rate has to be like above 80%.
Right.
If not higher, you know what I mean?
Right, like they had, what was the pay-per-view? I think Dean Ambrose wins the Money in the Bank. Rollins beat Roman and then Dean cashed in, or Roman beat Rollins and then Dean cashed in. Do you remember that?
I don't, unfortunately.
I'm pretty sure Roman was going to be off TV for a little bit. I don't remember, so if anyone's watching that is upset that I don't remember, I just don't.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't.
I think Roman was going
to
to be off TV for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember, and I don't want to be wrong, but I feel like maybe it was a
maybe that was when he had his leukemia.
No. See, I'm gonna look it up so I'm not wrong, because I thought one of the Shield members had to do some like wellness time off.
Gotcha. Could be. Could easily be. I mean, I would have thought it would have been.
Seth beat Roman.
Yeah.
Ambrose cashed in the contract after Seth Rollins beat Roman. I don't. So, like, it was cool because they had all 3 Shield members be champion the same night.
That is cool. That's I mean, the Shield was an iconic.
One of Roman or Rollins was going to be off TV for a little bit, and they were able, so they had to do it that way. I would have to look up why.
Yeah. Very cool.
But Yeah. Okay. So Roman came in as the champion.
I am curious what Baron Corbin or Tom Pestock is going to be like. His persona. Like, who is he going to be? Is he going to be like
Yeah.
Baron Corbin, like the old Baron Corbin, or is he just going to be some regular dude, that's just trying to form a new identity?
Yeah. Is this his first GCW match?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
I wonder if he's just going to go and try to put on like a master class.
Maybe.
Just to show like what he can do.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll give him time on the mic to cut promos.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine that match is going to be a bloodbath. It's literally whatever a blood sport match is, and he's wrestling Josh Barnett. So, I mean, I was going to say, I didn't even realize Josh Barnett was still in wrestling. I guess he's just been
It's going to be rough, dude.
Yeah.
GCW puts on
ultra violent,
wild matches.
I'm pretty excited for that.
Years ago, Matt Cardona wrestled what's his name? Nick Gage.
Yeah, that's the one that always comes to mind because of the pizza cutter.
The pizza cutter. I think he broke like
he was on AEW for a match.
A handful of fluorescent light bulbs.
Oh god,
into his back.
Those are brutal, dude.
And he even said like he flew home. Matt Cardona flew home, got home, like laid down, had like a little pain in his back, got up, and there was a piece of glass still in his back that they didn't take out or they missed.
Oh my god.
But it's like those fluorescent light bulbs shatter.
Yeah, I would not want to get hit with those.
No.
Didn't Nick Gage also have like a thing with like David Arquette?
I don't know.
I feel like I had heard that somewhere and I never looked it up to see if it was true, but I feel like he had some kind of a like David Arquette was trying to get back into like the wrestling scene and then like something happened and he got like hurt against like Nick Gage somehow. I'm not going to look it up, but
I wouldn't doubt it.
If you're watching this, let me know in that comment section because I would love to hear about it. I probably will look it up later. I just don't feel like doing it, to be honest. We have other things to talk about.
As far as wrestling goes,
yeah. So I mean, I know we were talking about GCW and everything, and we kind of branched off and talked a little bit about this and that. But going to the John Moxley thing, aka Dean Ambrose, I was watching AEW on Wednesday, and he was wrestling against Powerhouse Hobbs in the main event. And I briefly had left the room to go get something and came back, and Moxley was like covered in blood, which not uncommon,
right?
But it was only in like one very particular part of like his face and body. It was basically like on the side of his head, and like blood all like around the neck and stuff. And I was like, oh boy, that's like a lot of blood. Like I wonder what's going on. And then he ended up getting him in like a arm bar at one point, and you just see blood squirting out of his ear. I didn't look it up the next day because I forgot, but I
cauliflower ear.
It's either that or he got his earring ripped out of his ear.
Maybe, but I don't know that it would squirt.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, it didn't look good. It was pretty gross.
Cauliflower ear would
spurt probably because of the
think so.
Fluid buildup and stuff.
I would think so.
Yeah, it could be that. To be honest, I don't know. Offhand, I'm sure he probably has some cauliflower ear maybe from wrestling all these years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh God, I hate that. I hate things like getting your earring ripped out of your ear or like getting your eyeball gouged out or something. Like those are my...
Wrestling with your earring in is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you do that?
Like Rhea Ripley does. She wrestles with her gauges sometimes.
Yeah, that.
It did pop out one time when I was watching and I was like, oh my God, thank you that it didn't get ripped out because I would have turned it off.
I'm surprised. I'm sure that if it hasn't been used in matches, people pretending to rip her ears or her gauges, that it will at some point.
Jeff Hardy move, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever have. I mean, I'm sure they have. I just probably didn't see it, but...
Someone pulled at Jeff Hardy's ears before. I'm sure. Maybe it was Randy in their Hell in a Cell.
I could see CM Punk doing that too for some reason.
Yeah, 2009, right? That's when they feuded. I wasn't watching at that point.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was 2008. I know that couple of years that was Jeff's big struggle with alcoholism. He had that whole thing with Sting in that time frame and everything.
Oh yeah, because he had that was like I think right when he left WWE, he dropped the title to CM Punk.
Yeah,
I was having issues with drugs.
He dropped it to CM Punk,
went to TNA.
and he told the WWE universe, he was like, it's not goodbye, but like I need to go fix my shit. And instead of fixing his shit, he went right to TNA and was
a fucking disaster.
A disaster.
I was watching him on Chris Van Fleet.
I watched that too.
Yeah, so good, so good. Very, very interesting, candid talk. He does seem like he's doing much better. Thank God.
I mean, at his age, you would hope.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy also did Chris Van Vliet.
Oh, really? Nice. I did not know that.
Probably the same day, but the interview released either the day before or day after. I don't remember.
Probably.
The way Matt sits in the chair, he looks like he's hunched over, and I know he's not. It doesn't. I don't think he's doing it, but it's almost like he's using his elbows to like hold his body up, so he doesn't have to sit down. Like he sits really weird.
Yeah, trying to take the pressure off.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I don't know that he's doing that. But it's just so wild that Jeff has done all the moves he's done throughout his life. And like really he was sitting pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Even in the interview, he was like, "Hey, like, what was the worst injury?" And he was like, "Didn't really have one."
Yeah, only the rotator cuff.
Right.
Off of like an uppercut or whatever.
But Matt doing that leg drop for years.
Yeah.
Right? They would do that from the opposite corners, leg drop and a splash. That leg drop hurt him. And I'm pretty sure one of the last leg drops he did was to Edge off the cage when they had that cage match after they feuded about the whole Lita
thing. Yeah, I kind of figured.
I think he said that was one of the last leg drops he did. Like now, at that point, he moved to like doing little leg drops off like the second turnbuckle or something. But now I think he even does double axe handles.
Yeah, I think he stopped doing like leg drops. Period. A while ago.
Have you seen him walk?
Probably with broken Matt? I would imagine.
Have you seen him walk?
No.
It almost looks like at times like he waddles.
I'm sure landing on your ass all those years, you're gonna have some fucked up damage.
Right.
You're not
so it's crazy. Like Jeff is still coming out doing the fucking, dun, dun, dun,
yeah, he's killing
he's
it.
hitting swanton still. He's 47 years old.
He's still gonna be doing
however old he is.
Cage or whatever.
I think he said he's
spots.
almost 50. He's still doing this crazy shit, and just because Matt like. The leg drop mainly is what messed Matt up. And
Matt it's a brutal move to do.
Matt did crazy spots too. It's just that everyone remembers Jeff.
Yeah.
And Jeff's spots like the spear,
multiple swantons off of like the 20-foot ladder
through the ladders, tables, right? But
or off the stage, like
Matt took some pretty wild bumps. The swanton that never gets enough play that I think should. Was when he climbs up into the rafters and swantons, I think, onto Randy
Orton
in
Raw.
The sound equipment and shit.
Yeah, that was a big one. They made like a big deal about that, like when it happened.
Well, he was a legit 20 feet up.
Yeah,
he climbed up like 4 rungs.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching that one live. It's definitely cool. I miss seeing Jeff do those things.
Well, speaking of them, WWE and TNA have their
agreement
cross talent agreement.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was gonna be my next like segue.
Well, because we're there.
Yeah,
we could potentially see the Hardys in WWE in 2025. That would be wild.
And they're
the champs.
And it's been longer for Matt, right? That he hasn't been in WWE than Jeff. I think.
So Matt left.
He never came back.
Jeff had his contract extended because of injury.
Yeah.
And then if you remember, Jeff was in like a 6-man tag, and at the end of the match, or I guess in the ending sequence, Jeff like left through the crowd. and no one knew where he was. So everyone was like,
I remember that.
Everyone was like, "Oh God, like is he using again? Is everything okay?" He obviously wasn't using. Everything was good as far as that, but I guess he was just in pain. And if I remember correctly, I think he was just in pain. And in Jeff's mind, he was like, "I can't be here, like in this match anymore."
Yeah.
And it was the ending sequence. So he was like, I gotta
go. They don't need me anymore. My part's played.
Right. I just remember. I think it was him and New Day without Big E.
Okay.
And I just remember the match ending and Xavier Woods looking around for Jeff, can't find him, and then they're celebrating. But
yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see a Hardy Boys crossover once more.
I think you got to do.
Who do you put them against, though?
Champs against champs. Who's the tag team champs in WWE right now? Do they still have 2 sets of belts?
I actually don't know. Oh, they do. It's the Viking Raiders.
Okay.
Or the War Raiders, whatever they're. I think it's the War Raiders now, again.
Right.
On Raw. And then SmackDown, it was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still are because I very rarely watch SmackDown.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, so the War Raiders, they just won the titles.
Yeah, they literally just won from the Judgment Day.
A month ago.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like the tag team scene in WWE, at least right now from what I've been watching, has been a little lacking.
That's the thing, is it always waxes and wanes.
Yeah.
There are times where, I mean,
there's just focus on other things.
Personally, the best tag team wrestling was
in our day.
Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy's. You could throw in.
There was tons of great ones.
They threw in a lot of times, there was a Raw TLC.
Yeah,
that I think Benoit and Jericho
was in that one. Yeah, because he did the flying headbutt through the table on the outside and left.
Jericho did the Lion Tamer.
And they were the
The
champs.
guy on top of the ladder.
And then Benoit came out to win it.
Yeah.
With his, holding his ribs after. Yeah. That was a good
Benoit.
one. That was a really good match.
Benoit.
Yeah. They had a lot of great teams, though, back then. I mean, it's not like there aren't great teams now, but I feel like especially it's not emphasized, even though there's so many factions.
Well, that's the thing is, I feel like what they always did was, and they did it to a point, is they had the big faction, and the big faction had the title, the championship, WWFE championship, and then, 2 of their lesser known guys would hold the tag titles as.
Yeah, that's basically what the Judgment Day did.
Right.
For a brief period of time.
But now it's, I don't know. I love that era of tag team wrestling, and it's just, as tag team wrestling, you really got to do something to get looked at. That's why back in, 2001, they were doing these crazy TLC matches because they needed to do something.
Yeah, they were drawing the eyes for sure.
WrestleMania 17.
Best WrestleMania.
Right?
In my
WrestleMania
opinion.
17. When I see the video package of The Rock and Austin.
Yeah. Best
with
one of all
Limp
time.
Bizkit's My Way playing in the background, I still get fucking chills. That was the main event. I think that was Rock Austin 2.
Yeah. I think so.
I would have to look it up, but I think that's Rock Austin 2.
That was a good match. Good finish.
Right. Austin wins.
Yeah, with Vince McMahon's help.
Right.
The big heel turn, basically.
It's perfect. It's perfect because The Rock way too big to lose clean, right? He lost clean. Rock Austin won.
Yeah.
Right? You're going into this huge one, and if you lose clean, either of them, the feud ends.
Mm-hmm.
Vince comes out, heel turn, the heel turn never seen coming.
Yep.
Right? Because Austin was just, I'm going to do this shit my way, anti-hero, blah, 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 fuck you.
Makes a deal with the devil.
Deal with the devil. The feud keeps going. Rock, even more baby face. Right? You see this? WrestleMania 17. This is 24 years ago, right? 2001.
Still remember it like it was yesterday.
And then to think about that, a lot of people remember Rock Austin 2, TLC 2.
Mm-hmm.
Was that 2 or 3?
I think that was 2.
TLC 2
with SummerSlam.
Okay, so if you want to
be
technical, the first match those 3 teams had
was the ladder match.
Triangle ladder match.
Yeah, not a
then
TLC.
Then they had TLC 1,
yeah.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
TLC 2
at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 17.
And then they had the Raw or the SmackDown TLC.
Right.
Yeah.
But they added in other people because they knew if they just did the same 3 tag teams that they were going to have to do some wild
Yeah, how do you
shit.
keep one-upping
You can't.
the last one? You know what I mean?
You get to a point where you start risking well-being.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that they didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, they did that plenty already. But it's like, how do you really up the ante from that? It's like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see what kind of potential matches we could have in crossover. I mean, at that point, do you just dedicate a pay-per-view like
you gotta do a champ versus champ,
like AEW does for New Japan for Forbidden Door? Because I think that might be the move.
I think what you could do is you could just do like a champ versus champ pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But the question is, what WWE champions they're gonna bring back TNA?
Clash of Champions, but a crossover.
Right. But then you have to understand that a WWE champion's gonna lose. Like, who do you have the ability to lose that it's not gonna hurt them too much?
Yeah.
To losing to a champion in a different organization. Like, think about it in real terms. It's why the UFC doesn't really cross promote with any MMA
any other organizations,
because the UFC talks about their guys like they're the best in the world, and then if you go and you put them up against other organizations' people and then they lose, you lose credibility.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So if they were to do Clash of Champions and a WWE champion was going to lose, and they're going to have to if they do something like that. Yeah,
you can't just have...
they would have to build a story off it. And
I think you have, like, interferences leading in,
well,
almost like an invasion. Yeah.
Of course. If you don't want one match to end clean, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know? But then, like, how far do you want it to go? Do you want it to be an invasion, or do you want it to just be like, fucking, you know... Some guy from TNA just showed up. Oh, WWE, this guy just showed up. If you want it to be that, that's fine. But I think you could really do some cool shit here.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, I don't think this would ever happen, obviously, but imagine a TNA superstar wins the Royal Rumble.
That would be amazing.
I mean, it would certainly make for a never-before-seen historical
WWE is all about moments.
I mean, that would be a hell of a moment.
All about moments.
The person doesn't have to win at WrestleMania, you know? I mean, it would make for a crazy thing, but, you know?
And I mean, how many times has the person that won the Royal Rumble just went into a one-on-one at WrestleMania? Those have been triple threats.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them.
Right, they've lost their chances, you know, in random matches throughout. They've interfered. There are times where people got injured. I mean, think about, was it 2 Royal Rumbles ago that CM Punk was supposed to win, but he hurt his elbow?
When he, I think it was last year.
Was that last year?
Yeah, when he like tore his tricep, right? On the Drew McIntyre DDT.
Right. So
Future Shock or something like that.
So then it's you know.
Yeah, last year or 2 years ago, one or the other.
It would be cool if they won. Yeah, when is the Royal Rumble? It's got to be coming
February 1st.
February
Yeah.
first.
I am excited. I'm pretty sure, especially now that we have the TNA crossover deal, we'll definitely. I think we'll definitely see at least one, if not two. Maybe not in the men's, or maybe it'll be one in the women's, one in the men's. But it'll be cool. I'm definitely really excited about it. We were talking off camera before about this, and I was like, the me 10 years ago would have said never ever. That's insane. It'll never happen.
Never.
But slowly but steadily things change and the wall broke down and, Vince isn't there anymore. So I feel like
that's the big deal.
Yeah. So,
because Vince was like, no, I'm not giving
he
anyone else.
He didn't want to acknowledge anybody, any competition at all. Like they're not even on our plane. They don't exist,
Well, that's why, if we can go back to Matt Hardy and Edge during their Lita beef,
Lita wanted the beef already.
Yeah. Well, hey. But the Raw that Matt returns, right? So Matt comes back, he kicks the shit out of Edge in the back. Then they come out to the ring, they're beating the shit out of each other in the ring. And then the refs are trying to tackle Matt as he's talking to the microphone. And he gets out an ROH before they rip the mic out of his hands. And I always watch that wondering, like, clearly it was planned for them to fight each other in the ring or do something in the ring, if not fight each other. But they really pulled the mic out of his hands while he was talking. Like, at what point did the planned stuff end
and
the improv shit begin?
Yeah.
Because there's no way they would have been like, yeah, you know what? Yell Ring of Honor.
And we'll just pull the mic away.
Yeah.
No way.
Right. So it always makes me wonder where the shoot began.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm excited to see some crossovers. It would be cool if they did a Clash of Champions.
Yeah, I think that's a good. TNA. I think that's a gold idea, to be honest.
I think you got to do it. It's just, is WWE able to set their pride to the side?
Yeah,
and have a champion or two of theirs lose, if not clean, just
lose. Period. All. Yeah.
But anyway.
Speaking of, since we're on the topic of wrestling and WWE, I mean, obviously, I mentioned it to you before, but I was very excited about the debut of Penta.
Yes.
Cero miedo.
So, I didn't see it. I watched it afterwards, and he's kicking his promo. He's talking mostly in Spanish, so I don't really get it.
Yeah.
But I got it. Which is the best part, is while I didn't understand exactly what he was saying, you could just feel it.
Yeah.
You could feel what he was saying, how happy he was to be in WWE and not in AEW.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't wait until...
Ray Phoenix.
Oh, he can't wait. I saw that they extended his contract because of injury.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
How long?
I don't know. But, I mean, I would imagine maybe it's just a couple of months. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Either ways, it gives us time, or it gives him time to, do some different things in WWE, hopefully.
It landed, though. Like, everyone was happy to see him.
Yeah. I had read that some of the talent backstage were upset because it went way longer than they had planned. So it ate into some of the other, matches and stuff like that.
It's okay.
But management was happy.
It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the match was really great. There was really only one big botch when he was trying to do, like, the springboard, and it was just, he kind of fumbled it.
Yeah,
which is fine. But, dude, right. the Canadian Destroyer, the sell for Chad Gable was immaculate.
It was a great match.
Yeah. A lot of respect. And then I don't know if you saw, I saw like a picture at the end, but I saw it when it happened live, but I think it was right after the pinfall was over. If you look, like, Penta's like, he grabs like Chad Gable's wrist, almost like acknowledging him, like, yo, thank you so much for, putting me over. in my, my big moment here.
That's pretty cool. I didn't see that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I really love about him is obviously the passionate promo, but like you could just feel that always. I feel like whenever he's cutting a promo or whenever he's doing stuff in the ring, it resonates, Became a fan when he was in Lucha Underground, and who would have thought all these years later he'd be in WWE after being in, wrestling all over. AEW, TNA, AAA, probably New Japan at some point. I don't know.
Everywhere.
But yeah, pretty excited. Raw on Netflix has been pretty good so far. No issues with the streaming, no buffering, nothing like that.
Yeah, Netflix, they had their opportunity to learn from their mistakes of football
and
on Thanksgiving.
And boxing probably too, right?
Oh, I don't know if they have boxing.
I thought didn't they have the Jake Paul or
Mike Tyson?
Yeah, the Mike Tyson one, because I heard it was.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I mean, two big blunders.
Yeah,
thank God they got it right.
They had issues during the football game on Thanksgiving.
Was it just buffering or was it like quality?
Yeah, I guess so.
Probably.
I mean, I was using my alternative method, so because we don't have Netflix, but it's good that they got it right.
Yeah, no issues. It's been good. A little bit of fluff on the first episode of Raw on Netflix, but it's been good so far.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like the runtime varies a little bit.
Well, they said that it's not going to be a set 3-hour show anymore.
Yeah. I was expecting that because, I think the last couple months of it being on USA, they reduced it down to 2 hours, and then they were 3 hours will be back when it's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. But of course now it seems like, they kind of walked that back a little bit. And yeah, because I was like, it ended at 10:30 the other night, and I was just like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, I'm not opposed to it because if I can watch it and have it end at a reasonable hour, and go to sleep since I have to wake up early, then great. I was more than thrilled that it ended at 10:30. So. But it's been pretty solid so far. I can't complain. Been trying to watch as much wrestling as I can. It's been exciting. Good time to be a wrestling fan. Wrestling fans are certainly eating good these days with all the content. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. As far as we wanted to talk about sports, I mean, I feel like we can just touch on that.
Yeah.
Pretty briefly. Giants suck. The Jets suck.
That's always going to be the case, right? We always get
the Mets.
It's like football. Yeah, they suck.
The Mets are seemingly getting better.
Yeah. Yankees had their chance and blew
it. They lost in the World Series, but you know what? They're having a decent offseason, so we'll see. But no one's having a better offseason than the Dodgers, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I saw that on Facebook today.
They got the kid from Japan.
Yeah, the reunited three.
Yeah. And then, it looks like Severance? The Severance stars are at the Knick game.
Nice. Yeah, Severance just debuted, or season 2 debuted today.
Did you see they had the Severance stars in Grand Central?
With the balloons?
No, they were in a little office setup in the middle of Grand Central.
Okay. Omar had sent me something with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott with balloons and stuff, and I was just like, I thought maybe that was related somehow.
No, maybe. I don't know. So that's baseball. Basketball, the Knicks. Knicks are competing.
Pretty good. They're in 4th, I think.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
I think it's OKC's title to lose, though.
So last night, I was flipping through just, late to see what games were on. Mm-hmm. Cleveland versus OKC.
Yeah.
The big East versus West.
Yeah,
number
it was
ones.
35-4 versus 35-5 or something like that. And I know OKC won.
OKC blew them out of the water in the second half. I didn't watch the whole game, but when I turned it on, it had already been, it was already a 20-plus point lead.
It ended 114-134.
Yeah, so...
Oh, man. OKC scored 44 in the
third
quarter.
Yeah. That was when I turned it on. They were up by a significant amount.
And, so they scored 32, 43, 44. and they won by 20, but were outscored by 18 in the fourth, and they still won by 20.
Yeah, that third quarter was everything.
Well, what's funny is they won the third quarter by 12 points. They scored 43 in the second. They won that by 8. But they scored 32 in the first, but they won that by 18.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like OKC might take it this year, but I mean, it's still
their title to lose.
It's still early.
It's their title to lose.
You know, we're Knicks people, so always got to hope for the underdogs.
We'll see.
They're a gritty team, but yeah, I don't know. It really depends.
Don't know.
The problem is
Jalen Brunson playing 48 minutes a night.
The problem, I think, is they don't have enough depth. Like, they have some good people coming off the bench.
But not enough
Small
of a bench.
guys, though. Small guys. They don't have good big men coming off the bench. So,
well, Mitch is still out.
Yeah, he's still out, unfortunately, because Jericho Sims started this one. We have it on this, my TV on the side here. And honestly, I don't know much about him, but I could tell you that he should not be starting the game. I can tell you that much. He looked really tired, like a couple of minutes into the first quarter. Like he was walking it up the court, you can't be doing that. Either get him out or I don't know, put somebody else in the game.
Yeah.
But
so that's basically I mean, New York Liberty won.
New York Liberty won
WNBA championship.
Won the chip.
That's
so their
cool.
Women's basketball is good in New York. Nets, Brooklyn Nets suck.
Stink.
Terrible. Their future doesn't look great.
And then that leaves the Rangers and the Islanders, and they're both bad.
Yeah. Islanders are pretty terrible. Rangers started the season good, went on an extremely horrible slide. The biggest L slide you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Things are looking like they're turning around, thankfully. They've won, I think, 2 games in a row. Or no, I think they actually lost their last one in overtime.
They're 21-20-3.
Yeah.
They're
not
sixth.
They're not taking
division.
consecutive L's, which is a good start, but we need to string some wins to make a streak to improve our.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're catching any of the good teams.
No, but if we could at least get into playoff like wild card, I think that's a W for the Rangers at this point.
We'll see.
Yeah, a lot of moves happening in New York for the Rangers. I'm glad that we didn't get rid of the coach because I think that would have been a little drastic, considering he just came last year.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
But yeah, I don't know. Tough.
But did you want to give a
oh yeah, we got to do the
beer?
Yeah, we got to do the rating for the beer. Yes, we could do that. I'm on to my final sip right now, actually.
I mean, I got a tiny bit left. It's an 8.5 for me.
I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like it. Artwork is sick.
Love it. Artwork is a 10.
It might be the best artwork
we've
on
had.
A beer can. We've had, and
it looks like we did freeze, but they can. I mean, I still see the mic thing going.
Okay. I'm glad that's the face that is going to be left
on the screen.
I guess on that note.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing it for a while now. We're actually almost like what is that, an hour and 13 minutes?
Yeah.
Almost an hour and 14. So, and honestly, we could have stretched out those topics way more too. But
yeah,
I mean,
we talked about wrestling for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So
we also spent a good amount of time talking in the beginning about our goals and the year and stuff
too,
like
and
that.
investing,
and
stuff. So, yeah, I mean, quickly go over sports. We'll see if TikTok goes away. Doesn't sound like it will
thing.
be.
Yeah, we wanted to touch on.
I don't know, because they were like, we're making this law, and then they were like, wait, we don't want to enforce it because there's not an American company that's gonna buy it. But then the Supreme Court said, no, you guys can ban it. This law is good.
But they don't want to.
So I don't know.
Because Biden doesn't want to enforce it, right?
I don't know if they're going to ban it or not. We're going to see on Sunday.
Man, What a crazy time.
The fact that we're banning an app is insane.
Right?
It's insane.
Yeah.
We're banning it. It's craziness. But we'll see Sunday, and then we'll see Monday, because Monday is
inauguration
Trump's
day.
inauguration.
Yeah,
so then, like, what if he just turns around and goes, nah? Which could happen.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he said he was gonna stand up and try to save TikTok. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we certainly shall.
Anyway, 8.5 from me.
7.5 from me.
And that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching your for watching/listening on our first podcast in 2025.
Yes.
Whatever episode number this may be, 17, 18?
I think it's 17, but maybe 18.
Yeah. We appreciate you so much. You already know, but we out.
We out.
Catch you in the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Woo!